Come here, Paul. calling. Appreciated.
Oops, got something for me? Thank you very much.
Yeah, we were on a meeting, me and Kurt were, and James chimed in, he's like, I promise not all of our engineers are bald. Like, yeah, like it's not a club thing we got going out there.
It's a prerequisite for.
That started happening at my engineering firm I worked with before the city. It's like all of a sudden, like everybody started shaving their heads up there, and the president downstairs was like, "What's got going on up there?"
Eric is on his way. We'll give him just a minute. He and I both left the job fair about the same time, so.
How's it going?
Slow, but there were lots of people representing different companies and entities there.
Were any of my people there?
No?
Okay, good.
I didn't even realize we were
Looking, you mean?
like I'd heard
What do you got
that we were
going?
going to, but I know, like I never saw anything on our Facebook page, and
Yeah, it wasn't until today I saw it on Twitter, actually. Or I just,
Yeah.
that might have been my fault.
Most of the folks that came by our table were not interested in the jobs that we had opening. They wanted mid-level management or.
of the people I've talked to since Pat was here, you know, saying that, you know, you see all these people that are short on employees, but the unemployment rate's really low.
Yeah.
Like most people I've talked to since then have kind of confirmed it. They're like, yeah, there's nobody really out of work necessarily. They just can't get people to come do those jobs.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way it is. I had a couple ask me, well, I've got a medical marijuana card. Can I be a CDL driver for you?
Wow.
But
Oh,
Well,
we're ready.
knock on wood, we haven't had anybody leave unless they get elected judge.
yeah, and you don't have a high turnover department.
Which is surprising, very difficult to work. Shocking, actually.
Well, everyone's here and we are live. We have sent, I sent the minutes of the previous meeting in April to everyone. And I also sent Pat Moon's investment report via email. If everyone had a chance to review the minutes, if there are no changes, I would entertain a motion to approve the same.
Motion.
Second.
Tyler? All in favor?
Aye.
The only agenda item I have today are approving some refund requests. We have 3. Ashling Riley in the amount of $7,124.30. Kenny McCullum in the amount of $20,189.77. And Lloyd Lasker in the amount of $4,390.18 for a total of $31,704.25.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone have any business they'd like to bring up today? Any new business?
This is kind of an FYI, it's not anything to vote on, but just kind of keeping it for future discussion. Tyler and I participated in a meeting with the mayor a couple weeks ago, maybe.
Yes.
And there's some concern about many of our entry-level positions not being surprised and not being able to afford their portion of pension.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that's causing a lot of people to then resign. So they come in, come out, and it's hard to keep them. So pretty much what we, and Tyler was there, what we told the mayor is that we have a new actuary table report coming. We take a look at that, and then this full board could discuss the issue. Now, what a solution might be, I don't know. One of the things we suggested, which doesn't really have anything to do with this board, would be raising the salaries so that we would you know,
'Cause
just like
pay
what you were
was-
talking about today, that was one of the options. We just talked at the high level.
Yeah, competitive pay was one of the issues, and one of the other issues was they didn't realize,
Chunk.
what the dollar amount of a 10% withholding looked like.
Yeah.
They were kind of shocked by that. So, we mentioned maybe raising salaries and, I don't know,
Or removing the requirement for participation, but
Yeah.
what would that look like?
Yeah.
Long-term, it would hurt the actuaries.
Yeah.
The bad part of that. Before we had that option in the old plan,
Mhm.
that they could opt not to participate. And we had several that did.
So, it might be something that you could opt not to participate for the first 2 years, but then on the third year you have to, or, we have a lot of different
Yeah.
scenarios we can discuss,
I
but,
never thought about that.
hmm?
I never thought about that.
Because a lot of places, that I've worked, you don't get to participate until you're there and you're really there. It's not like a probation period, but you don't get all the full benefits or qualify until you're there a certain number of years, which would let people see the working environment, but then also see if they wanted to.
Yeah, we
Stay
would
part of
probably
it.
have to amend our plan
Exactly, yeah.
because of the years of service.
Well, and that's what Tyler and I told him, that
2%.
it's not something this board, it would have to be a bigger discussion, but
Now, the AML survey that we participated in, those results should be back by the 1st of June, I would think. Usually that's about
Okay.
when we receive it back.
so,
Yeah, it'll be, this board's main focus is the plan
Right.
and the health of the plan. But it's, kind of being suggested that that's having a negative impact on employment as a whole. So that's where the city council will have to come in and ultimately decide.
right. And, if they don't participate, obviously they don't qualify for the pension, so, it helps the plan a little bit on
Yeah.
the other end, but
True.
you still have that interim period.
And we do require our non-uniformed employees to contribute more than we do. They
And we talked
contribute
about
more
that
than
too.
fire, police,
Yeah, we talked about that too.
or the two that are in APERS.
So those have more budgetary implications, for sanitation being a separate enterprise fund. That's a little easier to manage than the general fund in terms of the potential impact of, cutting it down by 2 or 3% or something. There are just a lot of options. But we did kind of make it clear that we have to look to the health of the plan as part of that.
Yeah, that's why this all was changed in
Yep.
2018, when
Yep.
it was
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah, and you mentioned in that meeting, kind of one of the goals of requiring participation is that we get employees that want to stay here.
Right.
But I think just with the workforce environment as a whole
It's different right now.
already being
It
a
is.
challenge.
Yeah.
it-
Yeah, that's
We're in a unique place in regards to
Yeah.
the employment environment.
Yeah.
so anyways, that was. I
So
just
the
wanted to-
actuary, they should have it done, I would say, if not by the end of this month, early June. So maybe by the June meeting, because this is, maybe by the June meeting, we'll have it
Yeah.
to see.
At least see, and then we can talk about perhaps options, or if there's, if there's anything, it may be that we don't want to change anything or don't recommend any changes.
And I don't anticipate there being any real big revelations coming out of that. It's going to be, you're still underfunded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the liability will have grown
Mm-hmm.
because it grows as salaries grow.
Yep.
The liabilities grow. So, but I think it's best for us to have that.
Yep.
In the end before we.
Have as much information as, But I know the mayor, I think, asked Tyler to look at, I think specifically in sanitation, but maybe also in the general fund, what would it look like to raise some of those entry-level salaries?
Yeah.
Again. So that we can attract, because that's a tough job, you know, and entry-level sanitation is a tough job. And entry-level youth.
It's what we need to
Yeah.
do. As me and Miss Lisa have talked about it several
Mhm.
times.
Well, even our part-time positions, we're not keeping up with what they're paying in the
Mhm.
private sector right now.
Right.
Now, of course, that doesn't affect the pension plan, but it
Right,
does
but still,
affect,
but it's still, you know, employment.
you know, they can make more money working in a restaurant
Mhm.
in some cases,
Right,
not all, but in some.
Yeah, for us personally, you know, where we kind of describe it as our back door now has gotten larger than our front door, meaning we're losing faster than we're gaining. So slowly, we're becoming more and more understaffed.
Yep.
Yeah, and as a city, hopefully we can look at all the salaries.
yeah, I mean, this was just brought to our attention for a particular entry-level position, but I think, like, just like you said, that's across all.
Oh, yeah, 'cause,
Everything
you know,
needs to
they're
be
our
looked at.
most valuable resource.
Agreed.
Anyways, that's just kind of an FYI, and
Okay, good
Well-
info.
talk about it again, I'm sure.
And I brought a few numbers just to share with y'all, just because they're big numbers. I know Pat comes to us every quarter with his investment performance report and whatnot, but we got hit hard in April.
Yeah.
The plan lost almost $1 million in value in April.
Mm.
It's down about 11% since the first of the year, which that's what markets do.
You don't
They go up.
use it till you sell it.
They go up and then they come down. But yeah, we started the year with about 16.1 million. At the end of April, we had 14.3.
Wow.
And those are still kind of like Pat said, or no, I'm sorry, I'm getting my
Conversation.
conversations mixed up. So when we did the bond issue, you know, they talked about how rates had gone up
Mhm.
since we first started talking about it. But the rates are still pretty competitive with what they were before that. This is kind of the same thing. We'd never had 16 million.
Right.
I mean, we ran along at about 10 million for
Yeah,
a good while.
so we're
So-
still ahead of the game, but
Still ahead of the game. We've just had a correction.
Yeah.
But just, that's $1 million in a month is, and it was like 960,000, but still almost $1 million lost in value in April. And I'm sure hoping May and June
Yeah.
rebound a little bit, but I'm not sure that they will with
Mhm.
everything else that's going on.
Yeah. And that's affecting everybody. It's just
Mhm.
not our pension
Yeah.
plan by itself.
yeah, I've not even looked at my retirement.
That's what,
My retirement plan is,
that's what me and Miss Lisa were talking
Yeah.
about earlier today.
but I moved a lot of mine out of equities and mine's more in fixed.
Yeah.
Since I'm old and dependent on it, yeah.
Something safer.
Okay, that's all I got.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to bring up? No retirements this month. That's been the first one in a while. We haven't had anybody retire.
Good.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Hi.
So I was late, Miss Lisa.
It's okay. If I'd known you were going to Chick-fil-A, I would have put in an order.
I'm sorry.
Does anybody know if